Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Danger. For those of you who do not know me and my returning subscribers, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate the constant love and those people who not only watch it but come to me and tell me that wow, this was helpful. It also encourages me knowing that I'm not just doing this in vain. I'm not just speaking this, but someone else is like benefiting from it. So yeah, it's a really personal video. I don't want to say I struggled to decide whether or not to do it, because that's a lie. I really wanted to do it, but it was just that fear of how will are people gonna be receptive of it? Are people gonna see my point and all of that? And so I'm going to be talking about the power of words, but I'm mainly going to be focusing on academics, how it affected me, especially last year, and how this year I'm better. So basically, I had a horrible year last year because I entertained so many wrong thoughts, so many wrong advices. I don't even want to say it's advice, because advice is like a positive word and it has good connotations, but how bad how people's projections affected me last year. And I'm gonna firstly differentiate between venting, projecting, and giving advice, right? And this is not only limited to academics, but obviously, I want to talk about things that are more pressing, or things that I've seen are very, it's an everyday thing, like literally an everyday thing, especially if you're in like university and you're dealing with hectic courses. Like stress is like, I remember I was calling my dad the other day and I was telling him how I was so stressed, and then he's like, stress is the language of the day, because literally every time he calls me I'm always saying that I'm stressed. So I can see that it's an issue that a lot of people deal with, and some people really have realized that it's a normal thing and they don't allow it to affect them. But then there's some of us who were new last year and it really affected me. Shame. So thing is, in high school, so sorry, in high school I was, and I'm not comparing high school and varsity because they're two different places altogether, but I'm trying to make you see how and why it affected me to this degree. And also just I'm not comparing the workload of university is different altogether to the workload, yeah, high school and primary and all of that. Literally, I don't you remember in grade R all you did was draw and color, you know what I mean, though. And then as you go up the grades, you had to study more. And then now at varsity, you have assignments, you have lectures, you have all those kind of things, and you also have your personal life to take care of. So I'm not by any means comparing, or I'm saying that these are the same, but it's just to give you an overview of why I was so affected. And hopefully you will learn a few things from me, and just me being here vulnerable, as I said before, that it's a personal video. It's not like I'm spilling my business, but it's more of me being vulnerable. It's raising awareness to an area that other people also struggle with, you know what I mean, though. So there are a lot of cases of suicide, there are a lot of cases of, yeah, I'm so sorry, I live by the road, so if this whole video you're hearing cars just going up and down, just listen to me. Just listen to me, just be focused on me. Anyways, so that is what I mean with, like, yeah, so this is just a general overview of what, how, why I struggled. So in high school and in primary altogether. Okay, so in primary, grade three, around grade three, I was never like in the awards or anything. It was just I was average student, and then I remember our first awards as a class was, because I remember, I think we had coloring competitions, right? And then people who won, they'll just get gifts in class. It was not like a ceremony where your parents would come and everything. So in grade three, it was that, your parents would come and all of that. And I remember I saw like this other girl. they're all my friends. It's just that I'm not sure if they want me to mention their names. You understand? I'm really respectful of people, and I would have asked them before, but already I'm in the video already. So yeah, so I saw her. She inspired me. Actually, that's where my academic journey started with her. Actually, so I saw it was the hours evening. Hours. It was not an evening. It was in the morning. They did it in the morning because they wanted us also, I think, to be inspired as well. I don't know. I think that's why they did it in manual. So I was in grade three. I'm seeing this girl. She is getting an award, and I'm just like, wow, one day I'll be like her. But it was like a very fictitious dream. I never thought I would be in that world. It was like, wow, something that I would like, but I don't think I would ever reach it. It was not something that I believed in myself for. But it was a seed that was planted. You see, it was a seed that was planted, and that was a thought. It was a seed that I saw in my heart. A word that I spoke over my life, and I said, I wanna be like that, and I entertained that idea, but I never really like. Okay, I tried to work hard, but it was just not working. And besides, primary is, you know what I mean, though, there's just a lot of things. They check your handwriting, they check how you color, and I was not the neatest person, I'm not gonna lie. So I never really got into that words, and the other things as well, other people being smarter than me as well, and it being a small class, you can't really see that. And so, but I really wanted to. Grade 4 came, I was in the top 10, I think, but it was like a small class, so it felt like I didn't feel like, I was like smart enough and all of that. And then grade 5, I became number 5, and then grade 6 was like a personal matter because I had asked God to put me into the awards because of something else that happened, and I'm just like, Lord, if I get into the awards, it will make up for everything that I went through. And then in grade 6 I became number 2, and then I started feeling good about myself and everything. I suffered a lot from a lot of low self-esteem as a child, and academics literally brought me back to life. Academics boosted my confidence. You can never underestimate confidence. Like, there are a lot of things that you feeling good about yourself helps you deal with a lot of things, peer pressure, everything in general. You know what I mean? Though, if you don't feel good about yourself, then it makes you vulnerable to a lot of things. It makes you vulnerable to guys who are not even having good intentions about you and whatnot. So yeah, academics became a very big thing. It became an identity issue, but I don't really want to delve too much on it. It still is partially, but I feel like I'm slowly learning to unlearn a lot of things. So yeah, so it happened that as the grades progressed, I became very much aware of my strength and my weaknesses in certain areas, and my main goal was to do good in all my subjects and to really, really genuinely be like a very outstanding student when I passed my matric and all of that. So I remember one thing that was like from primary that disturbed me was Afrikaans. Like, I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't speak it. Yes, we would do things where we were taught the rules. It was more of like cramming than really understanding. And so for me, I was not happy. I was not happy with it because I'm understanding English. At some point, I thought I didn't understand English. And then when I went to Emmanuel, it was like a very good school. Like, Emmanuel is a very good school for English. So in grade 1, by the end of grade 1, I could speak English fluently. So it was just like took 1 year for me to be able to understand English. But with Afrikaans, it's like I can't understand it. By the end of grade 3, I couldn't understand because I think we started doing it in grade 3, and I became stressed. Like, in grade 3, imagine, like, that is how much I feel like academics. I was like very always cautious even from the get-go. So I'm just like, you know what, because I now understand English, let me just see as the years progress, maybe I'll be able to understand Afrikaans. So yeah, I went with the flow. I did the homework in the class. I was just doing what everyone else was doing. Then in grade 5, this guy came to our school, and he has never done Afrikaans in his life. He was doing Shivenda in his previous school, and then he's coming to Emmanuel, and I'm a very competitive person by then, and I'm thinking, nah, he's not gonna challenge me in terms of that area because he's never done Afrikaans. Hey, little was I mistaken. He literally became like the top student in Afrikaans in while he did Afrikaans for less than 1 year, 6 months or something. Like he was already very, very good. And I was like so surprised because I'm just like, wow, bro, you were able to like understand Afrikaans, speak Afrikaans, and all of that, read Afrikaans in less than 1 year, 6 months. You know what I mean? So he inspired me. I was just like, he's probably putting in more work than just doing homework and doing what everyone else is doing in the class. And that was when I started taking school seriously. So yeah, I tried in high school. I started to like focus on. I started to focus on Afrikaans. I translated the whole book in Afrikaans. Like I was very, very determined. I think it was the drive was internal, and that is why it was very easy for people to motivate me and all of that because I already had an internal motivation for me. So I hated surprises in that respect because I wanted to always make things work, and I never wanted to come to matric and now I don't know whether or not I'm gonna pass Afrikaans because I'm just doing the guess game, you know what I mean? So not guess game, but memorizing game, memorizing rules and how to do Afrikaans. But I really can't speak Afrikaans. I can't read Afrikaans. You know what I mean? Yo, please don't come to my DMs and ask me to speak in Afrikaans or whatever, because I have 1 year of not doing Afrikaans, so some things have slipped. But I do listen to Afrikaans music and I literally understand now and everything. So yeah, usually when the year ends, I would take books for the next grade and I would study ahead. So I was never surprised when it came to my schoolwork. I always knew what to expect. I always knew if I had to up my game. It was never an issue of I ever doubted myself or whatever. So when I came to varsity, I couldn't say I want to study books for first year because first of all, I don't even know which university I'm going to be accepted in, and I don't even know if I'm going to be accepted into medicine. So imagine the trauma of you going through your whole December holiday studying for something that you're not even sure of. And on top of that, I had two bad exams. I didn't finish my maths exam, 23 worth of marks. I didn't even write them. I didn't write 23 worth of marks. I know that out of 150, I don't have 23 marks. Not to mention of the things that I could have gotten wrong. So there was that fear of like, yo, medicine requires you to have a very good maths mark, but then I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to get a distinction. And yes, it was that thing of like my name was already in the system, yeah, but so I always have to make sure that my marks were like increasing. So I had that fear as well that they might not accept me because I didn't, get better marks, So yeah, I know I lost weight during December because of a lot of issues, but I'm just trying to bring it out there that I couldn't prepare for university. And in as much as you'd watch a lot of YouTube videos, even my video, if you're not yet in even if you're not yet in university, you can never fully prepare yourself for what can come forth. So I had anxiety. I had anxiety, and I was just like, am I adequate? Will I be able to do it? Because I was stepping into the unknown. So I had an anxiety coming here and a lot of fears, but that is another story for another day. But let me just talk about my anxiety in general. And an anxiety, I was just like, this is so new. This is so new, and I don't know what to expect. And how am I gonna make friends? Because I remember our school was so small, and I was able to see, okay, this person's character, I can be friends with this person. But you come into university, there are a lot of people in your class, you don't even know who to befriend. Like, yo, Nende, I was an overthinker. Yes, I still am, but there were some things that I was really necessary. I just feel like I shouldn't try to figure out everything in life. But for me, it was just like I plan something every year and I make sure that I achieve it. And sometimes if I don't, God will try to like show me that, you know what I mean, though, this is what is going to happen. And when something bad happens, I sort of like expect it. So it was just like unexpected. I'm in a new place, everything. It was, yeah, I was afraid. Shame, I was afraid. So I got to meet some senior ladies, and this is what I do as I did as well in high school. Like I would ask people who were in matric or people who are ahead of me, how do they do it? How is this grade? How is that grade? And it's always attempts to know what to expect, because I don't like not having things under control, or surprise, or being surprised by school in that aspect. So I came to university. Okay, so I applied the same thing, or same concept of asking senior people how their experiences were for first year and all of that, and hopefully I would be able to see what to expect. That was not a very good move. I'm not gonna lie, because high school and university is different. And the thing is, even when I was at high school, I knew who were the top students, and so I would ask them, and then they would give me good advice, and I'll be able to know what to expect and whatever, you know. But now it was like, I'm asking just any senior lady. I'm asking just any senior lady. I don't know their marks or whatever, and they don't have a right to tell me. You know what I mean? But I'm asking any senior lady, how is first year, and then child, child. You know when you have anxiety and you are expecting someone to ease your anxiety or make you relax, and then they just heighten it. They just make it worse by telling you to expect the worst, by telling you that it doesn't get better with the years. Second year is gonna be even worse. You know, it gets worse as the days go by. And this person is not even giving you hope. You're just expecting medical school to be a spook, a guru, I don't know. So yeah, okay, so they said whatever they said, and it was a seed that was sown. I think at that moment it didn't get to me so much, but I started to entertain those thoughts, or I started to entertain their words in my heart, when course actually became hectic. So when chaos became hectic, I started thinking about what this person once said and what that person once said, you know, and it became particularly hard, because now I stopped believing in myself. I stopped believing that I'm capable of navigating through medical school. So apart from that alone, my mental health was not so okay. You know, I had other personal things that I was dealing with as well. So when someone else comes and talks about me expecting costs to be hectic, it was just another blow. And I want to make it very, very clear the difference between giving someone advice, projecting, and venting, right? Because they all deal with words. Advising someone is like, I had a bad experience with first year. This is the mistakes that I made, one, two, three. So you can learn from me in this areas, one, two, three, you know? And projecting is saying, for instance, first year is hell, you're gonna struggle, there are gonna be times when you're gonna do this and this and this and this, and expect bad. Projection in my world, let me try to define it. Projecting is in for like projecting is talking about your experiences, or projecting your failures onto other people to such a point that it makes them anticipate a bad experience as well. You know what I mean? Though it's like, this happened to me, this is also gonna happen to you too, that type of a thing. So that is projecting your fears, projecting your experiences on the next person, thinking that because I went through this bad experience, then everyone else is gonna go through the same thing. And that's not the case. That doesn't happen with everybody. And I think that is why it's particularly important that if you have gone through something very, very terrible, or your academic year was bad, you need to get help. You need to heal from certain things that have broken you, than to go and project that hurt and project that experience onto other people, and tell other people to expect the same bad thing to happen to them. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then venting is just, you know, I mean, there are memes on Instagram as well, and on TikTok, where people complain about cost, but you can see that there's a humor to it. There's like, if I'm struggling with course, and then I go and then there's a meme on Instagram, or there's a meme on TikTok, or a video or whatnot, I end up laughing, and I end up thinking, okay, you know what? I'm not dying. It's not the end of the world. This is just course. This is just life. I chose this, but it's fine. We can actually make fun of it. We can actually laugh about it sometimes. and continue. You know what I mean? So that is like venting. I feel like that's positive venting. When you talk about it, it's just like, yo. I remember even this other meme, it was just, I don't have time for my family, I don't have time for this and all of that. It's not for you to take it into your heart and internalize it and to, you know what I mean, though, make it personal. It's just to make you laugh, because that person who made that video knew that maybe you're going through something and you need some cheering up, and needs to also know that you're not the only one going through, cause alone we're all encountering the same thing, not to the same degree or level, but you understand what I mean. So yeah, and then I'm gonna particularly focus on projecting, because a lot of people do it, and some people unconsciously, you don't know that you're projecting, but you are. So it's very, very important for you to also like also think about what you think about what you say when you are with people, and it will also help you to be a better person as well. I know friends particularly who, before writing a test, they don't want to talk to anyone. I remember I was saying my one friend's status is like, I'm not talking to anyone up until I'm done with the test, because he knows how people are, honestly, like, and how words can affect you in general. So yeah, the year progressed, and because of so many people who projected their experiences and their failures onto me, I had an anticipation that I'm gonna have a horrible year. And even when course was going okay, even when things were fine, I just believed, okay, this is not it. This is like not really happening. I should expect something bad to happen. I was always on the edge. You get what I mean, though? I was always on the edge. And there's this thing of like, for instance, whereby someone is just coming to you, and they're done with lectures, they're done with their lectures, and this is where I want to say people should not be selfish, because that's selfishness. You're done with your 16 lectures, for instance, and you come to me and you're like, Danger, did you see physio? Physio was like 16 lectures, bruh. 16. And me now, do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, yo, 16 hours. I'm thinking one lecture is like 1 hour or 30 minutes. And yo, when am I going to do the 16 lectures? And for me, I know that I struggle a lot with anxiety. And really, I'm grateful to God that He's helping me, and I'm becoming better as the days go by. But last year was really horrible. So I'll come back to my room and probably feel so overwhelmed. Like, how am I gonna even do this? And maybe there's probably a quiz that I have to do. Like, how am I gonna even do this? And I'm just overthinking things, and then I end up sleeping. And it actually became worse as the years progressed, when my personal problems were piling up. Whereby now I was just dealing with a lot. And the last blow for me, I was dealing with a lot, and I was trying to like keep my head up high whenever I encountered a challenge, sorry. And then my mom passed away, and that was like the last blow, knocked me to my knees, and I was just like so sad. I was just like so, yo, I was devastated, man. That is an understatement. I felt like my world ended, and for some moment it did. I don't even want to downplay it. Like, there's no pain that comes to that, and even up until today is something that I'm still healing. So I came to a place where already I was anxious before my mom passed away, and then when she passed away, my anxiety levels were on the peak, you know, because I just felt like I couldn't do it without her, and she's been the person who was like supporting me more than anybody else in the world when it comes to my academics. I even remember in grade 11, like, she got me a big phone, and she got me a laptop and a Wi-Fi router because of how I did so well in the awards, and she was just like so happy that I was like number one and everything. So those are some of the things that, you know, they make your success worthwhile. So after she passed away, I just didn't think I was capable, because she was my biggest supporter, literally. And so it was just me feeling like I'm not capable and all of that. So yeah, I was not in a good space. I was in a dark space. I was in the pits. You get what I mean? And so I became very, very vulnerable to a lot of words. And my class had this tendency, had this tendency of, our tests and our exams and our whatnot were open for a specific window period. So there's some people who would write in the morning, and then after that they'll go to the groups, and then they would say it was hard, don't even yo, it was hard, and this and this and this and this and this. And the way I was in such a dark space, I wasn't even able to study well, and I knew that I was really struggling. When people vent and then they're just venting, Jay, and but then they still pass, they still get over 80% on all of that. I was really, really struggling, as in, like, I didn't even know if I was gonna pass. You get what I mean? It was just like, it was that bad. It was that bad. So if I go on, so when I went to WhatsApp and I would see people saying that it was hard, I'm just like, okay, most of these people probably didn't lose a parent, and they're not dealing with what I'm dealing with and all of that. And I think that is also one thing that you shouldn't do. Don't assume you're the only one going through a lot of things. Because trust me, that many other people are dealing with a lot of things, and that is not to downplay your experience, and that's not to say your experience is invalid. But when you are depressed, you just think you're the only one in the whole entire world who's dealing with this, and you just have this, you are feeling pity for yourself and whatnot. So I had this mindset that I was the only one in the whole entire, not a mindset, it was unconscious, it was not a conscious thing, but unconsciously I thought, I'm really struggling and other people ain't. So when that person who I thought ain't struggling and is posting on the group that the test was hard, I'm just thinking, what about me who's dealing with mental health challenges? So when I get into the test of the exam, I am so paranoid, I'm so anxious that even the things that I know, I end up not doing well in them, because I'm so anxious, and I can't even think straight and whatnot. And when I don't do well in those tests, now I'm overthinking. I failed this test, I'm probably gonna fail the year. Everything was just piling up, and I'm really glad that in as much as all of those things were happening, one thing that I can just give myself credit for was I was self-aware. I'm very much self-aware, and not everyone is. Like, there are people who aren't. And I think one of the advantages of being an overthinker is that you're very much aware of your emotions, and when you are in trouble. So I knew that this anxiety is beyond my control, and I have to do something about it. And that opened my heart to, like, therapy and all of that, which would be another video where I really just, wow. I never knew what therapy was up until I met this beautiful lady in high school, and she changed my whole perception of therapy, because I had this notion that therapy, people who could go for therapy are, you know what I mean, though. Yeah. But anyways, I went for therapy. I talked to my friends. Family didn't really understand, and this is not to say they're not loving or supportive, but it's always good to, like, talk to people who are, like, dealing with the same thing as you, people who are, like, also at varsity, and at this moment in time, and not only people who are at varsity, but people who are probably doing the same degree as you, like, you really relate. So I talked to my friends about it, and I would tell my friend, I'm just like, friend, I'm really, like, I don't think I'm gonna pass the year. That's how my anxiety makes me think. That's how much anxiety can lie to you. And this is because this stemmed out, or I'm not saying that everything was because of words, but words amplified everything. It's like, when you have a problem, and then now when words or bad words are spoken or whatnot over you, when you are dealing with something already, it's like that problem is put on a microphone and it's amplified. Like, you hear the noise louder. You know what I mean? Like, it's like very, very, very loud. And my fear for failure, shame, it was just something else. But also, passing this is just a testimony on its own, and it's for a video for another, and I don't really want to talk about everything in one video. But yeah, I got help. But I was really crawling up until the end of the year. And I remember when I got my results, I went to the portal. I was just like, I just want to see if I passed. And when I saw that permitted to proceed, I was just so relieved. It was so relieved. And I remember I started crying, because I just remembered everything that I went through, and how a lot of things were just not necessary. You know what I mean? And I don't even understand these people who just, like, inflicting panic. I'll just be sitting in my room, and I'm devastated. I'm in the pits, like, literally. it's just like the worst breakup ever, because I'm not gonna see this person ever in my life again and whatnot. And I'm like, I just lost the love of my life, because my mom was the love of my life. And I'm just, there are a lot of things that change for you when you lose a parent. It's not just you not seeing the person again, but family dynamics, your lifestyle, everything changes for you in general. And even psychologically, you don't feel held anymore, because when you have a mom, it's like you feel held, sort of like, it's just like now the hands were off and I just felt like I was falling and I had to catch myself. It just, and that is where God comes in and a lot of things, and having to heal and all of that. So when I, no offense, but when are you like, you don't have the challenge that another person has. Let's just say you are, you have parents, you are supported and all of that. I just lost a parent, and then you come with that, you know what I mean though, like you're talking about the test, and you know you're inflicting panic, and now I don't feel held. I can't call my mom and vent. I can't do this and this and this. You get what I mean? And so now it just feels like when you spoke your words, I was already drowning, and then when you spoke your words, it just made me sick. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I don't understand why would you panic, like, then Jeff, you've seen this and this and this. Relax, relax. You know, you can just come and say, you know what, my friend, I saw this and this and this and this. You know, it's a bit challenging, but you can navigate it in this and this and this way. If you're not gonna have if you're not gonna have a solution to the problem, then don't tell me. And I think it's particularly important to also understand, or try to understand, where your friend's mental health is at that point, because even this year, I prefer venting to people who are not doing the same degree as me, especially my friend. Like, she's doing engineering, I'll vent to her, because I know that my venting won't affect her mental health, because we're not having the same workload. But then if you can vent to someone who's doing the same degree as you and their mental health is fine, then it's okay. But also be cautious of how another person is affected, or how another person is, how their mental health is at that point. So yeah, and there are these people who, you know, they would just talk about how bad things are and all of that, whereas they're actually doing well. And they say the test is bad, but then they come back with a 96. I don't even understand why people do that, but it's fine. And when you know, and you look at them and you're just like so bitter. And I think it's very, very important for you to heal, like go for therapy, whatever, do whatever you can. And you see people complaining about costs, and they're getting like woman 90s, and when you are barely making it, like you are like by a thread, you know what I mean, though, you're like holding on to a thread, like I can make it, I can just made it or fail. I can literally start there, because my mental health is so bad. So you look at those people and you're so bitter. It's just like, you know, and they're saying all these things, but then they're passing, and that is where you're not supposed to like internalize things. And I feel like this is for people who are really dealing with a lot of issues. So yeah, man. And for me, I had a terrible year then. But then this year, I remember my friend was telling me, or I don't know if it was last year, he was telling me that he was gonna go out a lot this year, and he's gonna try new things. And I'm just like, you should have went out last year, because this year is gonna be hectic and you won't have time. And then it's just like, I don't believe that. A lot of people said the same thing last year, Uri, things were hectic, but I did just fine. I was just like, wow. I'm just like, I allowed bad words to bear fruits in my life. It became a tree, and now it's bearing fruit. And now I'm sowing seeds into other people's lives, which is him. And I felt so bad. I'm just like so conflicted, and I'm just like, wow. But it was like also an eye opener for me. I'm just like, now I am the one who is, you know what I mean, the projecting. And I haven't even been in second year, and I'm just taking what other people in second year said, and then now I'm just speaking it into existence into his life. It's just like, no. I had a very beautiful year last year, and that is not to say that he didn't struggle. That's not to say that it was he was doing another degree or whatever. You get what I mean? Though it's the same degree, obviously different institutions, but still same degree. And he had that mindset, or he had a positive mindset. So when things got hard, he was more solution orientated than to dwell on the problem. So yeah, man. And I was like so shocked, and I reflected back in my whole life last year as well, Kuti. Nah, that's where it all started. The anxiety, that's where it all started. Everything for me, and how it gave fruit, how my year became such a horrible year last year. Everything, yeah. I'm not even gonna downplay it. Okay, there were good moments here and there, but it was a horrible year. 2021 was the worst year of my life in a long time. I don't know if it's the worst of my life, but yeah, it was just a horrible year. And that is because I just entertained a lot of words that I shouldn't have. So I was just like, I didn't tell him then and there, but wow, it hit me. It hit me. And this year, people started talking. The noise becomes too much, and people are not really careful. Or there are other people. If you're not a slave to anxiety, please be careful of people who deal with anxiety and all of that. And I'm not saying you should own anxiety and say I'm an anxious person. I don't own it. You are aware of it and you deal with it, and you separate yourself from the anxiety and not identify yourself as a person who's anxious, but be aware of your own vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. So it was a thing of like, now I'm remembering my friend's words. I'm like, no, this person, she had a terrible year in second year, or that person had a terrible year in second year, but let me just have my own experience. And that is why even people who are from matric this year and they go into first year, and then they ask me how is first year, and now I had a horrible year. So my initial response is, if I'm not healing or I'm in the process of healing from everything that I went through in first year, I'll probably project my experiences or my bad experiences on that person and make them expect the worst. So what I said was, to them, and I'm really glad I noticed this before time. I was like, no, I had a horrible year. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that doesn't mean you're gonna have a horrible year too. I just think people have different experiences, and based on how you work, your work ethic, your discipline, everything, if all those other things are in check, I think you're gonna have a more beautiful first year. And if you are also surrounded by a good support system, you're probably gonna have a better first year. So I just want to give you this advice. Please don't go about asking other people how first year is in general, because your experience is not their experience. So I'm not gonna tell you what to expect in first year. Maybe if you had a bad maybe if you have a bad experience with a module, that's when you can approach me and say, how do I tackle this module? This is being solution orientated, not to say automatically say, okay, because I struggle with MolMed, for example, then everyone else is struggling with MolMed. That's a very wrong perception. If I'm struggling with MolMed, I'm just like, okay, this model is whipping my ass. But is there someone who's good at MolMed? Can I approach this person who's good at MolMed? And then I do that. And I did also the same thing with people who just come to you and say, hey, there's 16 lectures, whatnot. Okay, I admit and I validate my emotions. I'm like, Danger, you're feeling overwhelmed. I started journaling a lot. Danger, you're feeling overwhelmed. But let's just see what we can do today, because if you don't do anything, you probably wake up feeling worse than you were before, and then you're just gonna go back to what happened in first year, where you became depressed, and then you start imagining yourself failing, and you're playing scenarios in your head that don't even exist. So I'll probably do actually more than I thought I would. And that night, maybe I end up doing the whole week's work. I'm just like, how? It's because now I'm like at a better place mentally, and I am positive, and I have a positive outlook enough. And I really like to thank God for what this guy said. It was not even a 5-minute thing, but that statement was eye-opening for me. It was life-changing. I even remember in dissections, I was seeing this girl, she had everything under control. I don't want to say she had everything under control, but she looked like she had everything under control. And she knew her work. Like, there was no doubt about it. She knew her work and she was trying. And then I approached her. I'm like, how do you do it and everything? And then she was able to like tell us as a group, how to do it and all of that. And I tried to apply the same things and actually realized that, okay, my toil in this module is way easier now. I'm actually starting to see the light. So if I had a bad experience with anatomy, I'm tempted to tell another first year, or I'm tempted to tell someone else that expect the worst. It's very hard. It's, you know what I mean though, than to be solution orientated or say, things are challenging in second block. People be giving you awareness. Things are challenging in second block, or things are more. You have to work on your work ethic, and you have to pull up your socks, and you have to spend more time reading your books and do this and this and this and this. I even remember I had a meeting with an academic advisor once, telling me how to manage my time more wisely, and all of that, how things are in second block. It's not to instill fear, but to raise awareness. So I think that is what I'm trying to bring across. Stop spreading panic, stop trying to instill fear into other people and causing unnecessary stress, because you know that you have your things under control, and then now you wanna be the only one under control. I don't know, you wanna be the only one who has things under control, because there's some people who do that. Genuinely, they're okay with cause, and then they go and spread I don't know what, anxiety and whatnot to other people. It's not good, it's not healthy, and it's very selfish, you know. So yeah, and I think also personally as well, don't expect everyone to have that mindset. Do take care of yourself, distance yourself from people who are just negative, vocalize your opinions if that person matters to you, and say, you know what, bruh, please don't come to me and all of that when there's this and this and this and this. Personally, even before test, I'm not gonna go on WhatsApp, because what if you wrote something? I remember when I was writing anatomy, I didn't go on WhatsApp, because what if someone just sent me a nasty text, and then now my mood is ruined and all of that before I write a test. Write my test first, and then I'll see if someone is just being somehow, because you are very much aware of who you are. This applies to everything, guys. It even applies to relationships, it applies to everything. If your friend is coming and she's very excited, she has a very healthy relationship with her boyfriend, for instance, and it's a very stable relationship, and she's really blushing to you because she wants to share her good moments with you, and when Mujolo had played with you and all of that, you know what I mean though, and your initial response is, if you haven't healed and if you're not dealing with it, you just project your experiences to the next person, and you're like, you make them expect the worst, you make them expect that this is gonna end, and now your friend is at a place where she's panicking, and maybe this relationship means a lot to her, or it means a lot to him. Because I feel like people should remember that we are different, we have different journeys, and we cannot apply the same formulas to each other. And in as much as there's really a difference between looking out for your friend, for instance, and just being negative and projecting your things onto the next person. Maybe this person has found their soulmate, you know, they pray to God, and God, you know, has answered that person's prayer, and she's in a very good stable relationship. And also for me in my life as well, it's like I don't downplay healing. If something hurts me, I make sure that I get help, you know, I pray about it, I do whatever. And I remember even in dissections, I felt, you know, those voices in my head trying to overpower me again, trying to make me feel like I can't do this and I'm not capable. And I don't know, something in me just sprang up, and it was just like, I worked my butts off to get into medical school, and I'm not gonna be the one to tell myself that I don't qualify and I'm not good enough and I can't do this and all of that. I can't be the one speaking that over my own life. And then it took a lot of affirmation, it took a lot of prayer, it took a lot of journaling and all of that to try and convince yourself. It was like a mental battle. I feel like I'm in a better place now, because it was like a long time. I was speaking over myself for like 3 weeks. When I'm anxious, I'm just like, I'm talking myself, and I'm just like, it's okay, then you're just overwhelmed, you know, don't overthink it, you know what I mean though. All those things that really help. And yeah, I'm so sorry that this is a long video, but I just wanted to just be vulnerable out there, just to, you know, bring awareness, how words affect people. And please just be sure, just, I don't want to say people are going through this, because that sounds so bad, and that's the line I hate the most. But people have different circumstances and are in different situations, and it's you might be tempted to look at people's lives through your lenses, and that is not even possible. So be considerate of that. People have different emotional and mental health statuses. Other people are drowning, other people are fine, other people are medium, you know. So when you vent, when you do whatever, projection is definitely not allowed. But when you vent, be considerate of that. I'm not saying people should not vent. When you give advice, make sure that you're not projecting your opinions, or you're not saying that this other person should do what you're supposed to do. It even includes relationships, but like, dude, don't do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hope it helped. Proverbs 18 verse 21 has never been so real in my life. I would preach about it and all of that, but my friend actually opened up my eyes, and he didn't just speak the scripture, but he lived it, and I saw that. And I feel like that's the most beautiful thing, not just coming here and preaching, but being an example to other friends' life, where they can actually see a scripture coming to life. So all the best with everything, guys. I just really like to appreciate my friend. This video is dedicated to you, and thank you for opening my eyes in that regard. He knows himself when he watches this video, because I know when he watches this video, because I know that he's gonna watch it anyways. And I really appreciate people watching it up until the end. I know it's long, but yeah, guys, enjoy your day, enjoy everything, and remember, I'm not saying I have things under control school wise, but I'm just saying your mental health really matters, and I'm at a better place mentally. So yeah, guys, enjoy your day, and I love you, and I hope you took something from this video.